Okay, great. So we're recording some discussion about the essences and some fun with the essences, some practice and some sort of like how to with the essences. So we were just talking about essences and how they guide you, right? Like how they know. How do they know what they're doing? So I'll just tell you guys, I created this kit and I talked about it at the Heart Awakening retreat. Like I created it with nature. Nature told me, started telling me with storms, through storms, a storm would come. We had this big storm in, it was July or August. It was like the whole Northeast. And it was supposed to be huge. Like everyone, it was a huge hurricane and everyone was saying, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. Like schools closed down, camps closed down, everything kind of closed down. And it definitely hit the mid-Atlantic, but it did not hit us. Like it did not hit us in the Northeast. And I forget the name of the storm. It had a name. But I remember during that storm starting to feel like I had this like antenna. And I had been practicing this for years, just like tapping into storms with this like antenna. And I would kind of imagine myself as like this acupuncture needle in the middle of the storm. Like if I were an acupuncture needle, how would I stay balanced? What am I putting pressure on? What needs to be moved? What needs to be released? And I remember, I'd been kind of practicing that for a few years and working with weather spirits, and it took a few years, and I wasn't intending to make essences or receive essence information. That wasn't the intention, but I had been using essences for a while. And so it just sort of started happening. And I remember during that storm, I got this really clear message that it was the essence of compassion that was coming through the storm. So even though it's not the essence of the storm itself, it's not that power of the storm, it's actually like the healing essence that's kind of coming through the storm to help balance the storm. So if you put like an acupressure needle in the storm, it would be compassion, if that makes sense. And this is very abstract, but this is sort of how I explain my process. So it came through, it was like compassion. And I was like, okay, that's the first essence for the kit. So it was the first essence that I made in this kit was the essence of compassion. And I didn't even know I was making a kit. I really had no idea. I didn't know that it was a heart healing kit. I had gotten a little info that, yeah, I was going to make a heart healing kit. And I was like, oh, that sounds nice, right? Like that sounds lovely. But it totally rocked my whole entire fall. Like it rocked me to make this kit. So compassion came through. Then the next two essences that came through, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole process, but I started getting like one or two a storm. And then one night during a storm, I got like 9. So it was sort of like any time that a storm was coming and I needed something specific for my heart healing, the essences would come through. So I got like compassion, I got allow and rest, I got all of these, they all came through. When they mean they came through, it means I got the info that I was supposed to make them, right? And then I actually had to make them, which is another part of the process. So if anyone, like you said, Molly, you made essences, like making essences, it's sort of like doing Reiki. Like you have to be in a specific state to like transfer the like information into the water, I guess, is you're sort of this conduit to transfer the healing information, the healing frequency into the water. You can't just be like, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's like kind of an intense experience. At least it was for me. So 16 essences was a lot to make in the fall, but I was walking around with my jars of water. My husband was like, you're crazy. I'm getting my jars out. I'm like doing, all this stuff. I'm like, I gotta make 3 essences today. They're coming through. I feel them, and he was like, okay, like go you, like, I don't even know what an essence is. And I'm like, that's fine. You don't need to know. And so, at the end of this, it was the solstice. It was the winter solstice. It had been all fall. I'd been making them, one by one or two or at specific times. And I was like, I know I had to finish it by the solstice. And the last essence I made was the essence of love. And I just want to tell you the story about the essence of love because it's a story. Like I remember I came into my office on a Sunday. I'm in my office now, and Generally, the office building has people in it. On Sundays, it doesn't. So I was told to go to my office on Sunday to set up my essence making altar and to start downloading the essence of love. And I remember I set it up. And as soon as I set it up, like I had sort of this ritual. I have these rituals and these sort of witchy things that I always do for all kinds of ceremonies and things. And the essence of love was like, you don't need anything. It was like, no ritual, just put the water on the table. It was like bare bones, just like, you don't need that to make this essence. And I remember the power that came through of divine love. It was like I could hear music. I could feel God's love. I literally fell on the floor in my office crying of joy. Just this essence of like, it was just powerful love, And I was just I was like, I had to climb onto my Reiki table. I was like, I think I'll just lie here for a few minutes and get a healing, right? And I was just like crying. I was so happy. I know I sound like totally insane, but that's how the essence was brought in. And at some point I gathered myself. I was ready I had received my healing, and they knew that the essence, I had checked in and it was like, the essence needs to sit the whole night. So it needs to sit. I checked in with it and it was like, it needs to sit until the morning. So I went home, I left the essence, it was still making. And the message that I got was like the next morning it would be done, but not until then. So I knew the whole night it was in here making itself. And I lock my doors, when I go home, my office is locked. And I have a drum. I'll show you my drum. Actually, Travis made my drum. So he made it for me like right as COVID started in 2020. And this is my beautiful drum. Some of you might have seen this before. It's a deerskin drum. And when I made this drum, when I asked him to make it, I was going to go make it with him, but because COVID was happening and I had kids and I didn't want to go out of state, it was like really like March 2020. I was like, I'm not going out of state. I don't want to get like locked in New Hampshire or whatever. I didn't even know what was happening. So he made my drum for me, which was really nice. And he drove it all the way to Boston and dropped it off at my house. I mean, good guy, right? So the next morning after I made the love essence, my drum hangs on my wall here. And I have a friend who works in the suite next to me. And she texts me at 8 a.m. So I'm still at home. It's Monday morning. She texts me at 8 a.m. She's like, Liz, are you in your office? I hear your drum beating. Why don't you open your door? I was like, no, I'm not in my office. Like, I'm not there yet. Okay. Her daughter, who's 6 years old, is with her. And her daughter is like also hearing the drum beating. So they're both hearing the drum beating. Her daughter's knocking on the door because her daughter knows me. She's like, Liz, open up. I'm like, I'll be there in like half an hour. Maybe Cassandra's in there. No. Her daughter and her heard the drum beating. And I said, what did it sound like? She said, it sounded like you beating the drum for a while. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 times. It was like a while. Okay. And when I came in my office, nobody was here. My office mate was not here. Nobody was here. It was like, I could tell the essence had just finished and it had been like taken home. And that was the drum beating. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the story of the love essence. So just so you know, because I feel like it's a story and I have to tell it. And I don't know what it means, but all I know is it's very powerful and it means a lot to me. And it means a lot to this kit. And this kit is made with a lot of love. And I think kind of the overarching guides of this kit are a couple of, there's like a big native influence of this kit. It's got a lot of indigenous wisdom in it, a lot of Hopi wisdom specifically. And also Jesus, the wisdom of Jesus and divine love and God's love. And so it's a real combo of these things. And I think at least that's all I know of it so far. There's probably a lot more, but in terms of like the language, right? You see a lot of things like forgiveness and love and grace. And those are those are very like biblical words. Those are words that we use, that we have an understanding of in Christian and other religions as well. And then also the system of it, like the 16 essences and the sort of the 4 quadrants that I gave you guys that write up about and that I was talking about, that's very indigenous. And it's like a whole system of how to keep the heart really balanced. And so that's very indigenous wisdom. And don't ask me how I got this info. It just happened, it just sort of came through. So that's a little story. So first, let me show you guys my bowl. And if you have a bowl, you can practice this, but if you don't worry, because this is something that I'll send you guys a recording of too. So here's my bowl. I like to use this, this is a little grid that I use for distance healing. So what I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to make a Davik bowl. And in the holistic healing community and in the water essence community, flower essence community, there's often people will make Davik bowls, and Davik bowls are wonderful for groups. Like if you wanted to teach a workshop or you wanted to create a Davik bowl for your family, for your home, for your space, using essences to create a Davik bowl to support like a group of people or to support a space or even to support a project, honestly, or a relationship. A Davik bowl is a great way to do this. It's sort of like, I know you guys are both Reiki practitioners. It's sort of like a way to send distance Reiki with the essences. Okay. So I'll just test really quickly for our group tonight and also for anybody who's potentially going to watch this. So I'm going to test for this group and including those who are going to watch this in the future. And you guys can just watch me test really quickly. And you'll have your own way of doing this probably, but this is how I do it. So I have my kit. And let's see, where's my lid? I like to keep my lid, I'll move this over. I like to keep my lid right next to my kit so that I can see all 16 little boxes. I use it as like a guide because sometimes you need to keep things organized and it's a great way to keep things organized. So I'll show you how I do this. Let me get a little closer. All right, so the next thing I do is I do muscle testing. And that's just the easiest way for me to test for, okay, I'm asking I'm asking the group really, like the heart, the community heart of the group. What does the group need tonight? Okay, what essences does the group need tonight? Does it need anything from this kit? And when I ask that, the next thing I do when I test, here, let me see, I'm gonna get over here, is I have my fingers like this, and I have one finger like this, and I'll pull. And if I ask a question, does this essence kit want to support our group tonight? If it doesn't come apart, like if it links, then it's a yes. And if it doesn't link, it's a no. And it's called muscle testing. So you can watch me, I'll ask the questions out loud. And you can try this on your own too. Well, I'm going to have you guys practice later. You can try muscle testing, or you can just use your intuition, or you can use a pendulum. Right, so does the group need anything from this kit tonight? Yes. And then I usually touch, because I'm tactile, I like to touch my first row, that bottom row, and I say, does the group need anything from row 1? Yes. Does it need essence 1? Yes. So I'll take out the essence of love, that's essence 1. I'm just going to put it here on the love, just to keep things organized. Okay. Does it need anything from essence? Does it need essence number 2 from row 1? No. Then number 3? No. Number 4? Yes. Repair. Okay. So I'm just keeping it organized. Does it need anything from row 2? Yes. Does it need 1? No. Does it need 2? Yes. Softness. Does it need 3? Yes. Empathy. Does it need 4? No. Need anything from row 3? Yes. Does it need 1? No. 2, 3, 4. Grace. Molly, you know that essence. All right. From row 4, do I need anything for this group? Yes. Essence 1, no. Essence 2, yes. Integration. Essence 3, no. Essence 4, yes. Connection. Okay, so we got a lot of essences. So now I've got my essences that I tested for, and there's quite a bit you can see. That's why I like to keep them on this grid so I can keep them organized. So I think, you know, one thing I want to say is with the 4 quadrants, it's just for information. Like, it doesn't really matter if you use them in any specific order. You can ask, I like, this is just me because I'm totally into my kit and I have a whole personal relationship with it because I made it, but I like to do it from starting with the warrior quadrant, which is the red, then going down to the healer quadrant, then going over to which is green, then going over to the teacher quadrant, which is blue, and up and out through the yellow. But that's just like the way the heart pumps blood. And so that's the way I use it. You can use it like that if you want. That's really complex. Or you can just put them in one by one, however you want. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start with integration just because I'm going to use it like that, like the way the heart pumps. So we're going to put an integration. And I think that makes a lot of sense. We're talking about like a lot of stuff you guys have been integrating that you've been doing. The next one we're going to do is softness. That's from the healer quadrant. The next one we're going to do is love. Woohoo! And I usually just put 2 or 3 drops right in the bowl. You can use 3, you can use 2. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to go over to the teacher quadrant. I'm going to do repair. So this is interesting. So there's some stuff that needs repairing. There's some stuff that needs repairing. This is just for the group. Empathy. And all the write-ups of what these mean are in your, the digital write-up I gave you. And if you came to the retreat, then it's right in your red folder for your kit. Okay, grace. And then the last one, last but not least, connection. I love this one. Okay, so this is a David bowl for a group. And I just wanted to show you how to set up a David bowl. Okay, and like usually with the David bowl, there's going to be tons of essences. So, that's kind of how you do it. I'll shut this for now. And then what I like to do is just put my hands around it for a minute. And I'm just going to, what we call, in the essence world, they call it shifting. Sort of like sending distance Reiki. So I'm working with nature and nature is supporting the group. So just taking a few breaths yourselves as the essences are being shifted to you. And you might even start to feel them coming into your space. They're coming in to support you. I like to think of them, I really do believe that essences are their own consciousness. And nature, each aspect of nature has its own consciousness, including storms. And so these are the essences of nature coming to support the heart healing. And those are everything that we just pulled. Okay. Now we just pulled a lot of essences. Okay. Sometimes it might just be 2 or 3. Sometimes it might be 1. Sometimes it might be like all 16, which is very rare, but it can happen. So do either of you have any questions about David bowls or just like curiosity, how you might use them? Anything coming to mind about this idea of the David bowl, what it means, how to use it, other ways you might use it or think about using it that I haven't even thought of?
Oh, I guess I've never seen the shifting before, and I'm just wondering, like, are you doing a silent prayer? Are you just feeling the
I'm
energy like
just
Reiki?
I'm just feeling it like the same way I would do distance Reiki,
Mhm.
right? That intention of and you don't have to be a Reiki practitioner to shift essences, but you're putting the intention that and I'll do it again. right? Like the way that you would start you would do an intention before you started sending distance Reiki. You would do an intention before you just shifted the essences from the bowl. So my intention is to shift these essences to the energetic space of our group tonight.
Okay.
And so that means you might feel it in your home spaces where you are live, or if you're listening to this after the fact, you might feel it in your home space. But it's being shifted to the energetic grid of whoever is connecting to this workshop. Okay. I almost think of it as a mandala going to the right places, but it's going to the right places to support with these essences. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Okay.
felt it hit my third eye and I was like right into theta state and I'm like, whoa, that was powerful.
I know. It really is. It's wild, right? I mean, it's like Reiki too. You're like, that's wild. How does that work? And then you're like, oh yeah, and essences work like that too. And
Yeah.
it's different, right? Because it's like with Reiki, it's almost like one white waterfall that you feel. It's sort of this all, but with the essences, it's like just a little more, it's nature. So it's just a different vibe, but it's also got, just each one is like a different note, it's like each one's a little bit of a different frequency or different spirit or different aspect. So it feels personal in a way too, because it's like tested specifically for you, and each note is like a little different for you. It just got that, whoa, this is hitting me, and in the way it's, it's like a different kind of thing. Erica, do you have any questions about the David Bowl? Because you might use these, you might not, but I just wanted to show you.
I was going to ask, what would you use it for? Was it just be a group type thing? Because you obviously used it at the retreat.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I didn't start using these right away, but I just wanted, because I'm making it for a group, I wanted you guys to feel that, that shifting. But I started using them. First, I started just using the essences for myself. And that's really the best way to start. And we're going to get into that. And we'll do a session for you guys. But after a while, I think I was using essences pretty much daily for like a year, 2 years. I started really getting into the bowls. God, it wasn't even that long ago, maybe like 8 or 9 months ago, when I started using them with my programs, because what I was trying to do, and also in my office space. So I would do them for like, you can do them like the way people use aromatherapy for their homes. You can balance out like a place in your home, like a space in your home with a David bowl. It's like inviting nature in to support your space. If you were just going to do it for yourself at home, it's sort of like energetic balancing for your house, for a room, or something like that. Or yeah, you can use it if you wanted to send somebody, if you're, sending somebody an essence healing and they're not with you, you can use it for like the way you'd use distance Reiki, or you can use it for a group. So you could do an individual session with somebody with the bowl too, which I've done. Or I've used it for like my programs in groups. And I had a really wild experience where I was using it every group. I did a 12-week group. It was a spiritual life coach training program last fall. And I would do it for each class, because I wanted nature to support. I wanted to feel like I was working in line with nature in my program. And I wanted that connection. I really do crave that in this work. And even in spiritual work, like, which I love, I feel like the connection to the earth is just it's missing to me in a lot of ways in the spiritual entrepreneur world. And this is a way for me to really ground in with the earth in my work and in my programs. And so I would do a bowl like this for each class. And then the last class, after 12 weeks, I had this experience where each time I would do a bowl, I would do a bowl, I would do a bowl. I had this experience where we were doing a meditation, and I saw like the program as a whole, like as an energetic whole, ground into the earth. I can't explain it other than that, but it was like, now it's like part of the real world, like the earth. It was like this gridding, this frequency of the program that just grounded in. That's all I can, I don't know what else to call it. Some people have probably different words for it. But that's that's like something that I didn't expect. But I was just told to keep using the essences. And it was really supportive for everybody who showed up for the group too. And it was really supportive of the group process to have it. So yeah, groups, spaces, distance healing sessions. But anyway, well, if you can think it, you can do it. That's basically like, I only know so much. I feel like people have other ideas that I'm like, that's brilliant. Like, yes, if there's like an idea that comes through, try it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to get out my little folder. I'm going to have my red folder with my write up. So what I'd love to do is just really walk you guys through an individual session with this kit and play. And we're going to play. So you don't have to do muscle testing. I didn't even do muscle testing for a while. I just would I would take off the lid of a kit and I would look at the words and I would just intuitively know, oh, I need this, or I need this, or I need this, and following that intuition. Because muscle testing can feel really, it can be like just not the right time for it, or maybe it's just not the right thing for you, and that's okay. I just wanted to show you how to do it if you're curious and you want to keep practicing, because it didn't click for me. Muscle testing didn't click for me for a long time. It really just happened one day. I was like, oh, now it's working, because I would kind of get tripped up about it and I'd be like, I don't think I can trust it, and stuff like that. So you totally don't have to do it. I didn't do it for years. So what I want you both to do is, before we check it, before we do the testing, just check in with your hearts. Because what I want you both to do is identify an issue. Okay. Identify something that's coming up for you. It could be about work. It could be about family or relationships. It could be about yourself, your relationship to yourself. It could be about so many things. Just identify something that's coming up for you. And we'll take a minute and really check in. Maybe taking some breaths. I'm going to do this with you guys. Let me get my notebook. You might want to have a notebook on hand. Oh boy, sometimes it comes through loud, screaming. So anyway, write down any issue that you are working on. Okay. Write down any issue. And afterwards, after I'm done recording, we'll do a personal share. I'll turn off the recording, and for you guys who are here, we'll do a personal share. Okay. So write down an issue that you want support with from this kit. Erica, I love how your cat's joining in on this session.
She's the funniest thing. Anytime I'm with you or Travis, or she's here. Like,
It's like, I want that. I want that.
Yeah. And she's got to be touching me usually too. She's crazy. Huh. Oh, princess.
She's very astute.
Yes.
So, oh, that's that Animal Kingdom card. It's her too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering that. Yeah, it's funny.
All right. So let me know when you're ready, when you've identified the issues. There could be more than one, but we'll just pick one for simplicity's sake. Okay. You can write down as many that come through. Actually, I mean, if you feel like you just want to write more than one down, you can too. Nature will support multiple things. So it's really up to you. But I'm just going to write down one. And so you've identified what you want support with from this kit. Okay. And this kit really, it really does help. I mean, I wrote it down, you know, this kit is designed to support the energetics of one's heart space as well as the energetics of relationships. So it's for your heart space. Excuse me. I'm allergic to those words. No, just kidding.
That's you.
That's why I need this kit. So the energetics, I think it's my candle. It's making me sneeze. The energetics of your heart space as well as the energetics of relationships, right? And it's really useful for balancing issues on relationships, work, and self-worth. Those are sort of the three main themes. And I wrote about this. It's in your write-up. And it's to balance the energy of the heart center. Okay. And sort of, you know, just to repeat what I mentioned before, the 4 quadrants of the heart are represented in the design of the kit, in the colors, those 4 colors, and it's also in the write-up. And each quadrant has 4 essences that awaken the inherent attributes of that quadrant. Okay, you don't even need to know about the quadrants. That's just like a little extra, but that's just how the kit's designed. So now what I want you guys to do is to test. I want you to practice testing. Okay. And I know, you know, Molly, you said you have a lot of experience with essences. So this might be just like you already know how to do this, but I want us to each go through and test however that works for us. That could be the muscle testing. It could just be intuitively choosing what you need, or it could be using a pendulum or doing the human pendulum. So if you have questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. And I'll test too. Okay. And once you've tested, pull them out, and you might even want to write down what they were underneath your issue. Because the thing is that each one is like a keynote to the healing of the issue. So I'll just, you know, we'll go over that, but pull it out and write down what each one is. And let me know when you're finished with testing, or if you're having any questions about it, let me know. I'm here
When I
for
do
you.
the testing, it seems like I'm getting all of them. Is that normal? Like all 16? I know you said it
That
happens
that
sometimes.
totally can happen. That can
Okay.
totally happen. Do you want me to, well, how are you testing? Are you testing intuitively?
Muscle.
Oh, the muscle testing. Good
Yeah.
for you. Good for you. Yeah. I say go for it. The other
Okay.
thing is, like, if you're testing and, or what's the word? What's the thing? Yeah. Is this the first time you're testing, or or have you done this before?
I tested once before, but I wasn't sure if I was doing it right or wrong.
No, you're
Um,
doing it right. You're doing it right. Yeah, I'm testing for you, and it's like she's doing it right.
okay.
So you're
The first,
testing. Yeah, you're doing it
right.
right. Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
time
good
I
for you.
did
Good
it
for
with
you.
my pendulum, and it seemed like it took forever. So I was like, let me try the muscle, and I'm like,
You know what?
I did all of
It's
them.
so much more efficient if you can do the muscle as opposed to the pendulum for this. But yeah. So okay, so you have all 16. So you don't even need to really take them out of the. You don't even need to take them out. And then
Right.
Molly, did you test?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
I got quite a
Um,
few as well.
Yeah, good, good, good. And honestly, like my experience is that the more you work with this kit, the less you'll get a lot in the beginning, because it's like, we need you, we want to help you. And then it's like, you're not going to need as much as you're like regularly using it. It'll usually be like 1 or 2. So what I encourage you to do now is and Erica, if you have 16, this might take a while, but what you might want to do, there's a couple ways to do this. You might actually want to do this because it might be easier, is to get a glass of water and to put a drop of each into the water. So you can just, because otherwise you're going to be like just dropping on your tongue 16 times, which is fine too, but it's up to you. And Molly, you might want to do the same. It's up to you. If you decide just to take them, that's fine too. You just open it. I'll get up real close. And just put 1 or 2 drops on your tongue. Okay. Or you can put it right into water or your water bottle if you don't want to put them right on your tongue. Okay. So after we take them, we're going to kind of chill out like we did at the retreat, where we kind of relaxed and just allowed nature to come in and to support us for a little bit. And let me know when you're ready, and I'm going to pull some music up and we can get comfortable.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So Molly, when you're ready, you can get comfortable and you can relax. You can get into a meditative position and just allow yourself to go into a state of relaxation. And we're going to go there for about 10 minutes or so. And same with you, Erica, when you're ready.
Okay.
And I'm going to put a little music on. And I'll let you know when it's time to come back, okay? Next position and allowing nature to come through, and anything that comes up, any sort of processing around the issue that you're working on, right? Anything, any insights, any visuals, anything that comes through to really make things more clear for you, just allow it to happen. All right, and we'll go into this place for about 10 minutes. You might still be receiving. You might just want to go to sleep. It's 8:15. You might have had a long week. And that's okay. So I don't know. I think we'll just do a quick share about what we experienced because I don't want to make you guys write right now. It's like too late in the day for writing. So let me I'm gonna stop the video and we'll just do a little check-in about how that was. And for those of you who are watching this as a replay, I do encourage you to journal because if you're watching this as a replay, then it's going to be important to process a little bit like how you felt the essences come in. You, even if you're just writing, like I felt my heart soften, I felt my heart shift the state, right? It doesn't have to be a mental thing, right? We're working with the heart, but you know, just putting it down so you notice. And then yeah, if you guys who are watching this as a replay, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you and see how the experience was for you. So you can just reach out to me to verbally process too. All right, talk to you soon. And then let me just stop the recording. Here we go.